Hi Divine Rebels, Bohemia with Bohemian Stars and Ocean Heart readings here. And today we have the How to Get What You Want video. This was on the polls a little bit ago when we did to see what we should do next, and the ancestor reading had won, and this was a close follower up. I thought it was time to go ahead and do this. Now, I want to talk a bit about what I want for this channel in some ways. I'm just going to reiterate once again, explicitly clear that colorism, racism, and being anti-black or anti-indigenous, those kind of things are not going to be acceptable on this channel. So for instance, when I post the melanated tarot deck, which is a black created deck, but people feel like, oh, this is just a, as a person of color, I'm going to let you know that I don't want you to get the Afro goddess tarot, because the melanated tarot is something that I can be diverse with. And then kind of make a crack on black hair. Afro peoples does not mean we all have afros. It means we're the diaspora, people that have Afro lineage within them, African black lineage around the whole world, right? So I'm tired of the ignorance, and I don't always get a ton and compared to the love. But the thing is, what is microaggressions are so exhausting, especially in the spiritual community, when you have people who think that they're really good people, and then they think that because they've done enough goodness that they can come and do something that is, prejudiced, racist, bigoted like that. And especially in an attempt to control, my platform, my voice as a woman of color, as an Afro-Indigenous person of color, which is already so marginalized, which is already so, stolen from, even here in the tarot community. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of having to not have people be discerning and honest when there's things that go on that aren't good, and playing those nice cards of basically wanting everyone to just shut up and be quiet about things if it rocks your boat, right? We're truth tellers here. That's why I call it Divine Rebels. If that doesn't resonate with you, if you don't stand up for people who deserve to be stood up for, if you don't stand up for marginalized communities and children and all that kind of thing, or if you're not on the path to growing that, if you're not willing to decolonize from these systems and structures that are literally destroying the planet, have been harming people for centuries over here, or if you only care about that really, really when it's in regards to your own race, and you only like other people being in power when you can co-opt their movement, but when it's just them being in their power for them, you have an issue. This is not the channel for you. I see my numbers. I see that sometimes when I'm doing a melanated tarot deck reveal that people are popping off the channel, or certain people disappear. I see that. So hopefully you're going and working on yourself. It's tough even for those of us, to decolonize ourselves and kind of unprogram the self-hatred or just boxes that were put in growing up. But I'm not going to ignore that part of things, because it's not true medicine. I'm not just going to sit here and blow air up everyone's ass. We have beautiful true love supporting messages here. And then that, like, you can never have true love if you're allowing abuse, if you're allowing all of these things that I've been naming to be an undercurrent there, right? And so that's what my Pisces learned, to the hardcore. And so I hate when people pretend that something's nice that's not nice. I hate when people pretend that something's love that's not love, or something is medicine that's not medicine. All right, so we're not doing that on my channel. If you have an issue, don't try to come sideways with some comment to me about how I shouldn't get the Afro Goddess Tarot, because basically you can't stand for black people to be seen in a deck, but you're okay with other people of color having their own theme decks, white people having their own theme decks. It's ridiculous, and that's exactly why I make a point to say it and to bring these out. And it's funny because the ancestors don't play. I went on my Instagram after that, and not only did I see that deck that person was complaining about that they didn't want me to get, I also had this other deck that I forgot that I wanted, that is called, it's Makeda's Natural Hair Wisdom. And it's an entire deck based on black hair and the wisdom and the sacred practices and the medicine. So no, when we are out here and we've had histories of people not being able to get jobs because of their beautiful, sacred, natural black hair, when we've had, our indigenous peoples getting their hair chopped off, things like this, and being subjected to horrible, even nowadays, that still happens to indigenous kids in school. It's still happening to black kids getting their head shaved. And we're going to do these microaggressing comments and rudeness, and you can't handle someone else having representation unless it reflects you directly, or unless you can kind of steal it, sis. No, we're not doing that. Okay, and I'm not going to sit here and be worried about what people talk about in the community, because a lot of people are bullshitting and lying and being fake nice, that are in those ways when they get confronted with, hey, diversify, be real with people. Don't just give them these fake soulmate readings or whatever just to make your money. I'm not going to do that. I'm always going to be honest with you guys. I'm always going to be 100. I'm always going to give the tough truths. As a Pisces, that is very difficult sometimes to do, because I know that that is love, and then you can heal and you can move on. And I know it's a tough, painful process, which is why I'm always very sympathetic and empathetic with that, in the ways that I can be, in the ways that I'm able to relate, because as a real empath, I know that I can't truly be fully empathetic with everyone's experience, because I don't live in every body or every identification that is there, right? But I try to honor you as much as I can. But I won't do that by squelching out other people's. I won't do that by pretending that this world isn't really shitty in some ways right now. And I also won't pretend that hope is lost and that we should just shut up and not talk about it and we should just be deluded, because I don't believe that either. I think when we talk about things, we can heal. If I'm still talking about it to you, that means I got love for it and that we need to fix this shit. All right? That's what that means. And if not, then you can get off the channel. All right? What I'm not going to have is rude comments or people trying to steal the platform from people who barely are starting to get a voice and get heard, especially when you're trying to use the tools of their own ancestry to build yourself up to seem cool and enlightened. We're not doing it. All right, so we are going to stay respectful to people in the comments. And like I said, a lot of you are mad, cool, beautiful. Like, we're just out here trying to love trees and each other, better the world, keep ourselves from extinction, vibe ourselves up. And I appreciate y'all so deeply, so deeply, absolutely, so much. All right, so much. So, in honor of that, we have, yes, the classic melanated tarot here. We have Black Panther, Black Slate, Black Lava Stone, and Black Seashell today. Okay, you heard me. That's right. We have the Dark Goddess Tarot, and we also have the Divine Doors for our options. So how do we get what we want? Well, as you just saw, we put up big boundaries. We have to be okay with, even if it seems like momentarily a lack of success, to cleanse out what doesn't serve us. Refuse to accept anything that does not serve you. Serve you meaning coming up into alignment with you, that is the vibration that you're seeking. Also, some more tips is to be willing to transform, though, because sometimes we say, no, I don't want that, right? I don't want anything not positive. And then it's like, well, guess what? Having to take out your trash isn't necessarily positive. Most people would chuck that up to a negative. But if you want to have a nice, beautiful house, it's necessary. Otherwise, you're going to be on trash hoarders. So there is the need to change our transform our perspective on things, to keep growing. That's definitely something that we can do to get what we want. Keep growing spiritually and be hungry to release the things that are holding us back truly, not just the things that it flatters us to hear. Okay, so we're going to get into this personally for you, and I appreciate everyone who stuck through that, those who stuck through it because you are taking the medicine from it and you are willing to be a good person in the world, not just the people who are being sleeper cells and going to be like, well, I'm going to stay on your channel anyway, and still No, you ain't. No, you ain't. Bye. Okay, here we go. For real, I'm starting. Okay, let me finish. Okay, so we have number 1 with the Black Panther. Again, number 2, Black Slate. 3 is Black Lava Stone, and 4 is the Black Seashell. So let's get into it. Let me move this over to the side down here. Oh, my hand was wet because I just moved a bottle with condensation on it. How to get what you want. All right, for those of you that chose Black Panther, we have the 2 of Swords reversed. We have the Strength card. We have passages for your doorway. This is your doorway. Yes. Spiritual signs of inclination. You're walking through passages of your transformation, okay? And what is the strength card? The parts of ourselves we've been wrestling with, the parts of ourselves that seem, stank or ugly, the parts of ourselves that others have tried to program or tame within us. The Six of Air, which is the Six of Swords, Saka, Skafka. I really need to see how to pronounce that because she's been popping up all the time. Six of Swords. Okay. We could have some Leo, some Aquarians, some Libras, Geminis, could be other fire signs. I'm also getting a Scorpio vibe with this one. And Capricorn as well. So how do you get what you want? It's like you gotta keep stepping, no half stepping. You gotta keep stepping, moving forward. It's like you have to take off this it's kind of like don't be too Libra. You know how Libra's like, oh, well, I don't know who's right in this situation, so I'm not going to make a decision. Well, I'm not sure. We can't be totally sure about justice and fairness and all that kind of stuff. And so then they end up not supporting people that they should, right? And not making decisions that they should. So the Two of Swords reverse is like time to take off the bandana on the eyes or whatever it is. Time to take off that I heard falsetto, but kind of that false mask mode of, well, if I stay in this zone, then I'm nice and can't no one tell me anything. It's like, no, you have to beast it a little bit more in life. You have to really get out there. You even have the Black Panther, right? And the animal here, the tiger, lion, panther energy, you might see that symbolism around a lot. So it's like, no, you have to go out there and be willing to be seen sometimes as a tough person, a bad person, an aggressive person, an accomplished, successful person, an ambitious person, those kind of things in order to have success that you need. You have to be willing to go out there and basically pave a way for yourself. All right. And I do feel it's like there are others who have paved a way for you, but it might not be the way. Like this isn't a main entrance. So as cool as it looks now, like this is a little side entrance, right? So it's like others have paved ways for you, and it might not be the most glamorous, but you have to be willing to take it where you can get in and, assert your individuality and, kind of meet all of these obstacles or the you can't because head on. So for instance, oh, well, you can't because of your age, you can't because of your weight, you can't because of your height, all of those kind of things. I'm hearing Muggsy Bogues, so I don't know who needs to hear that, but very, very, very short, might have been the shortest ever basketball player. So this is like, you can't just take someone else's word for it for what you can accomplish in this world. You have to really go into yourself and be honest with yourself. This is about honesty. That's where I'm feeling like Capricorn. Capricorns can be so honest about what they're good at and what they're not, and about what their partner's good at, what their partner's not, like so practical. Like they could really know kind of where they rank at and things. So I'm like, ooh, that's painful, but it's reality, right? And so for you guys, it's good to just be honest about, okay, yeah, I'm the underdog in this situation because they're miscounting me because of my race, my gender, this. Like, be honest about it and then take the steps you need to defy that, as you want to, as fits with who you are and how you want to express yourself, okay? There's also the need to be more protective of others. Some of you aren't doing that, right? We have struggling internally with pride, with social energy, with Libra and Leo here. And we have Aquarius asking you to get off of that and to go out here and make some justice calls, to go out here. The Six of Swords is usually a person who's helping a battered woman and child leave an abusive situation. And it's Aquarius card, right? Which is all about, activism. So a lot of you, it's like, come on, put your money where your mouth is. Where are your action steps? Let's see on the outside this person that you say. That's why, some of you, maybe when you were listening to my intro to this video, you were like, oh, this makes me upset. Like, yeah, I kind of agree, but this is pissing me off. Why? Maybe because you're not doing anything about it. Kind of like when someone's really healthy and then we're mad that they're healthy. Like, why? They're not even rubbing it in. We're just mad. Oh, look at them. Look at them wearing those gym shorts. Look at them eating that celery. Why are we really mad? Because inside we're struggling with the fact that we're not letting ourselves be healthy. So now we're mad, and we're gonna join in with the rest of the family talking about them. Yep. Well, they can't have my cupcakes anyways. Right? And it's kind of that energy. It's like, do you want to sit on the sidelines and squelch down your potential greatness and be mad at everyone else who's actually taken a chance and, like, building railways and tunnels to make the world a better place, and just sit there and have this internalized frustration? Or do you want to be great too? Do you want to be a good person? Do you want to do good things? Do you want to try to go out there and pave the way for people, or continue the work? The marathon continues, right? Kind of like the Underground Railway ain't done yet, like big legacy. So I feel like some of you're aware of some of these bigger legacies in the world, and it's time to just add your name to it, be on the right side of history, kind of thing. But excuse me, but it takes doing that internal work, getting over it. Yeah, finding out where you've kind of been wrong internally and where you've been right, but you need to free that, if that makes sense. So for instance, let's just take a very general one that's a common topic, like feminism stuff, like, oh, women should be quiet, women talk too much. That's a lot to unpack internally, right? Because there's so many ways that those microaggressions, those job opportunities, those prejudices sink into you. So if that is your lion, you'll have to be like, the part you want to unleash is like, oh, I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to be empowered. My voice is going to be heard. But the part you'll have to squash down or get rid of will have to be like, oh, I'm being too loud. I'm being too bossy. Oh, look at that woman. Why is she talking so much? Because I can't talk. She's over here talking. Oh, why is she so loud? Why is she? Oh, really? That's what she's going to say as a woman when she's representing us? Like, you see what I'm saying? So there's a lot to unpack in there. Right? We can be hateful to people who are in the same energy as us that we should be freeing. We can be hateful to people who are very different, because we have polar opposites here with Leo and Aquarius. So yeah, there's a lot going on for you guys, but to get what you want, it's like, man, unpack that stuff. Basically, what they say, if I accept it about me, no one can use it against me. Unless you're just really hateful, right? But you know what I mean. This is talking about like personality traits. Like if you're like, man, I'm not serious enough. I'm always silly about something. But then you follow your path. That's a path of joy and silliness and laughter and comic relief. Well, guess what? No one can use that against you now, because you've found a place for that energy in your life. Some of you need to look at your astrology like that and see what parts of your astrology are kind of getting away from you, that people always say this about me, and this is my rising sign, and that's why. Take control of that energy. Unpack it. I had to do that with mine, with different aspects of my chart. I've talked about that I was just like, I did not understand them. Being water dominant, I was like, what? Fire? What? Different aspects of air that I was like, I don't like that. But I had to learn how to grow into it and utilize it the way I wanted to in my life. So you get what you want by moving forward, accelerating forward, always dropping the toxic, bad, negative situations, but still being able to beast it for the right cause, even if it gets down nitty gritty, okay? Not doing that kind of fake nice thing anymore. Not doing that, skating past people that are in danger kind of situation anymore. No, you put your money where your mouth is, walk it how you talk it. You're going to get where you need to be, all right? And definitely respect those who paved the way for you, and know that you can add to those legacies, all right? So that is for you, number one. Comment down below, like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. All right. Let's put our Panther there. For those of you that chose number 2, which was the black slate, we have Justice reversed, which is interesting. Maybe some of you picked 1 and 2 because there's a similar vibe. The Chariot reversed, actually similar energy in some ways. A cure for longing. So here's your door. A cure for longing. Love is happiness, a spark inside. Live deliberately and choose boldly. Then you have arrived. Ooh, live deliberately, choose boldly. Then you have arrived. Look at these bold colors, these yellows and reds, orangey reds. Right here, 8 of Wands. Red zucchini. Some of you need to travel, right? So where you're at is not where you need to be literally. not just figuratively, in order to get success and move on. I'll put that to the side just so people know that this is the Slate one. Yeah, I'm totally seeing travel. Um, I feel like some of you might feel like karmically stuck in a certain place or like to a certain family or something. And so you can't move ahead because you're sitting here kind of biting out time and karma. And so it's like, no, no, no. You might have a life where you need to get up and move a lot, travel around, and that could just be your dynamic. And until you're comfortable with that, you're never going to get the success that you want. You have to be more fluid in your life. You kind of pump your brakes, hunker down, and refuse to make decisions and refuse to make calls for your life. And it's like, no, you need to be more instinctual. Some of you need to be angrier. It's kind of like all this injustice. Why ain't you angry? Like, you just, again, you park it, hiding over here to the back, not moving forward. A cure for longing. You know what it reminds me of? This song that annoys the hell out of me because it's written by a Libra, John Mayer, and it's waiting on the world to change. And it's the whole song is an excuse of, oh, it's not that we don't care, but we're just waiting on the world to change. And just like, okay, we understand that we want to point out to the older generations what they did wrong, but you're really gonna sit here and say you're not gonna make a decision, you're just gonna wait for it all to change. Hello. And so some of you, you've been parked in that zone for the longest time. Well, I'm just waiting for my family to change, I'm just waiting for my marriage to change, I'm waiting for the laws to change, all these kind of things. And it's like, you need to go out there. Like, this is a very active reading, I think, in general, for everyone coming through here. It's like a cure for your longing is to go out, live deliberately, you choose boldly, then you've arrived at your destination. So I think, you know how sometimes you don't do something that you wanted to do for a long time and then you finally do it and you're like, damn, that was 8 years I wasted. Like, oh, what, like, seriously, why did I not do this before? Why? And some of you are like that. Like, you should have been moved house, you should have been gotten a divorce, you should have been got rid of a soulmate contract that didn't work for you, you should have already put yourself on the stage. I'm seeing people actually going, I'm seeing travels to like Washington and people speaking their voice, maybe getting into legislation, but it could be from the ground and not necessarily from within the system. Some of you, though, have been putting off going ahead, being lawyers, being public defenders, all this kind of stuff, right? And it's like, why? Why are you putting it off? Your voice is needed in this situation. Like, get involved. Get out there. Where's your cry? Where's your passion? Where's your life? Aren't you alive? Don't you remember you exist? You're a soul burning and feeling, and like, come on now. Come on now. Before that flame goes out. It reminds me of that poem, Do Not Go Quietly Into That Dark Night, which is talking, he wrote it for his dad when his dad was dying, the poet's dad, like, go out, like, with your passion, go out with your boots on, right? Feeling. And that's how you guys get where you want. It's just kind of, you speak it into existence, but you're right there with action. It's not like, oh, I have a vision board. No, not for y'all. This is Mercury and Sagittarius. This is showing up at the store you want to work with. Hey, I want to work here. You guys got a job? Boom. This is Aries, Jupiter and Sagittarius. Like, this kind of energy, Mars and fire signs. You're not asking for it nicely. We're going out there. We're going to get this justice. All right. We're going to get this divorce that we need. If we don't get these contracts, you are building it yourself. Period. It's the cure for your longing. Why are you going to sit here and let the other person have this power that's not getting you where you need to be with your goals? So this is about, you're like, oh, this highway is full. Okay, skirt off the exit. Let me go rerouting. I want to get there. Oh, best believe I'm going to get there where I need to be. All right. And I do feel a lot of justice crusaders in this. Crusaders in a good way. You're out here changing the world, just fighting for us in a good way. So thank you for that. It is saying don't lose sight, though, with the Chariot reverse. We can lose sight of why we started this. We can start getting into just popping off random anger arrows, missiles at our loved ones. So there is the reminder to salvage the parts of your relationship, your family, your roots, or allowing others to have their relationships, their family, their roots. So just because maybe for you have this path of like, oh, screw all traditions, screw all marriages, I don't have to have a kid, all this kind of thing, that doesn't mean it's the same for everyone. All right, but for some of you, yes, that is going to be how you go and get what you want. It's going to take a lot of sacrifice of family, of marriage, that kind of thing. But it says love is happiness, a spark inside. For some of you, your happiness is different than what everyone else's happiness is. A lot of you could have Sagittarius or Aquarius North Node or Venus. So you need a global kind of happiness. You need to change things in the world to really feel fulfilled. You know, you could have a moon and Venus, or moon and Venus. You might have moon Venus connection, and so maybe that's hard for you. Part of your chart might be arguing with the other part. Part of you wants to just have coziness and tradition. Part of you wants to have freedom. But really, you know, whenever you're settling, it's not working for you. You know, you need to be out there changing things, making waves, and that's how you get what you want. Right? You out there doing your own thing. Oh, you're not gonna publish my book? Well, look at here. Guess who owns a publishing company now? LLC me. See me because I'm the CEO. Yes. So keep going at it. Revisit your motives. Make sure that you're staying in a good place. Your heart energy could be getting a little burnt up, might be off track a bit. All right. With Justice reversed in the Chariot, you could be off track a little bit internally with why you're going about what you're going about. So recalibrate that so that you can make sure you are getting all the things for the right reasons. And that is a message here. Make sure when you're going and getting the success that you want, you're doing it for the right reasons. And some of you have had some past life experiences with getting a little out of control when you got power, when you got success, and that's why you throw a lot of stumbling blocks for yourself. And you kind of give yourself other issues to make sure, okay, am I really being a good person? Am I a good person enough to get this? And that's why you have that, because you've made mistakes in the past. So the biggest cure for that is to just stay on your ass. Like, oh, shoot, was I not being inclusive? Oh, hell no, self, we ain't about to have that. Take yourself back, get yourself right, okay? And then you're like, okay, you know, now we're good. Let's keep moving forward to my path of success and keep, you know, working on my self-worth. So work on amending fences, work on making sure that, you know, you're being, like you're paving the way for others as you're moving forward, kind of like everybody eats. You don't have to get too tyrannical or feel like you have to exclude the whole world or something, you know, from you moving forward. Even though, like I said, you might have non-traditional relationships, and that might just work for you as you go and get what it is that you're trying to get worked out. Some of you, if your question was a relationship one, you might really have to augment your kind of what you were thinking you wanted for relationship dynamics or family dynamics. Maybe it's inevitable you're going to have a blended family if you want the situation to work out, or that you're going to maybe not take certain marriage vows, or you're going to do your ceremonies differently. Maybe some of you literally don't have the legal right to marry in certain areas or places. So yeah, it's good to think about, but it's more about, okay, but are you in your passions? Are you connecting with the life you want to live? And if those laws are against you because, you know, they're affecting your health care, your family dynamics, go out and change them. Get out there. Get out there. All right? Don't sit there and wait on the world to change. All right, all right. Hope that was helpful for you, number twos. Now we're going to get into number three. Okay. We have the lava stone. Black lava stone. That's right. That's right. All right. For those of you who chose black lava stone, number three, what or how do you get what you want? We have the King of Pentacles reversed. We have the Four of Swords. We have freedom flows. This is your door. Freedom flows. See this, like this whole reading so far has had liberation, freedom, be active with your compassion, all this kind of stuff. Don't hold yourself back from worldly freedom. Dream grand things for divine sacred reason. What? This, oh my gosh, Spirit, y'all are amazing. Don't hold yourself back from worldly freedom. Dream grand things for divine sacred reason. Divine rebels, right? Have good motives, and then you don't have to worry about why you want to go out and have a nice home, those kind of things. And your other card is the Siren of Earth, which is Balbo. So some of you guys are too mad serious. Like you're not, there's definitely earth signs in this a lot. Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. I'm getting the big Taurus, Virgo energy. There's also some Aries here. Maybe even a few Geminis. So it's like, you know what it's like? It's saying don't be that kind of Taurus energy where Taurus can get so set on what they need for their just practical happiness to feel safe and secure, that they can't handle anyone changing in their lives, they can't handle their routine changing. And so then what happens? Then they get more judgmental to everyone else in the world. Cancer can do this a lot, and I am seeing this kind of Cancer energy too as well. So it's like, no, that's not working, right? I feel like some of you, literally in your homes, you might have one family member who's like super traditional, overbearing, and then you're out here trying to have a more zesty, sensual, sexual life, express yourself, let that freedom flow. Like it says, worldly freedom. That's a term religious people use a lot. Oh, you're acting worldly, as if it's bad to just go out and live your life, right? So for some of you, you have to live a little bit more out loud. The Four of Wands is an Aries card that is about events that make us happy, events we choose to join in together. To be celebratory. So this is like, are you going out? It says dream grand things for divine sacred reason, just because it's amazing and it aligns with who you are. Like, you have to believe that you can do this. So this is kind of like if you're saying an artistic question, how do I get to being this great artist? It's like, throw your own parties, throw your own events, take control of how you dress and how you act, your sensuality, your image, how much you do or don't show, all that kind of thing. Take control of your record label. Don't just make money for someone else. So this is kind of messages for everyone. Basically, free yourself from being under someone's thumb financially. I'm definitely getting some people who are stay-at-home partners, and your partner is the sole provider, and so you have this big home, but then you can't express yourself or be who you are in certain ways because the other person has bought your life, basically. They're paying for everything, and so you're like, well, you don't understand. We're happy to a certain degree, but if you're wanting to get what you're asking about, you're like, well, maybe you're asking about your relationship, and this is like, well, that would mess up my relationship if I started being all rebellious to them. No, maybe it would wake things up if you come to this reading, and it would help it be a more a real relationship between equals, and not just everyone in their roles, and them feeling like they're doing a business transaction. Here's your check for the week, make sure you act the way I want you to act, kind of thing. Yes, I'm definitely seeing people who need to become their own boss in a lot of ways. A lot of you have the advice to ditch your management or your boss, maybe even your landlord. Some of you need to buy your own homes or to become more mobile with your homes. Like, I think some of you might be doing tiny homes, or you might just be deciding to go on the road. I do get a big feeling of artists and creatives here. I definitely see some people moving into a co-op, like those, I don't know, they have them in LA a lot, like over there by the winery, where it's like, sometimes they open them up and you go through and you see all the art shows, but the rest of the time, like, it's like the old factory is revamped as like artist lofts. So it could be some kind of community kind of thing like that, green living, something of that nature, and it will give you freedom. I even heard retirement home for someone. So somebody is wondering if they would feel better if they kind of went to a community of their peers. I don't know if retirement home is the exact word to use for it. Senior living maybe, but I think that could be good. Like, someone's not wanting to feel like a burden and they want more freedom. So whatever that is for you, if you're going to college, you might consider going to the dorms. It's like about making your housing your own is the thing, and not having to live under the tyranny. Now, if you've been in the dorms and that's where the issue is, it could be going home if you would have more freedom there. So it's about going to a situation where you feel like you are appreciated, there's more people that are your equals there, or that allow you to be who you are more evenly. That's a huge thing. You need freedom to flow to you in order for you to dream these grand things and feel like you can launch yourself off into the world. Some of you who have been overly sexualizing yourself, it is saying, think about dialing that back and show what you have besides using that. If your whole thing has just been, really being this explicit Instagram model, I mean, that's totally empowerment to you. But if you're like, well, I also want to, do these other things and these other avenues, and you're only putting in energy into that, the exposure and feedback you get from that, it might be the need to dial that back down if you want to be able to focus in other areas. Or it's like, okay, well, you're also doing real estate, and that's kind of, it could be dangerous, right? If you're out here having, on one side you're more a racy model, and then you're going showing people homes by yourselves. Okay, so I am seeing some kind of things there where it might be like, augment your image, not because it's wrong, but just because it doesn't always fit the result that you want, is the thing. Okay, that's the thing. And that's a good way to approach readings. It's not always saying that everything is wrong that we do, but it's saying, hey, you're saying you want this result, try this and let go of that. Okay, some of you, it's the other way around. It's like, man, come out here and live. Can you skin breathe? Besides any religious things or spiritual ceremonial path that you're on. But this is like, find ways to express yourself, even if you are like, okay, well, this is where I'm at. Sometimes we do want to go through times where we have more covering on our body, but are you being expressive? Is it authentic to you, or is it becoming because of the rules and what everyone else is going to say? It can even be so much as you feeling like you can't wear designer things because of others, or you feeling like you have to wear designer things because of others. So I'm seeing a huge thing about clothing, even about body hair, about if your nails are done, if you have a tan, all these kind of things. You might have just been in really weird common, I guess, to me, weird dynamics of society that are just overly focused on all of that. So it's like, turn it on its head. Here, Babo gets tired of everyone debating around, and it just exposes herself to cause some jokes and scandal there amongst the gods. So yeah, it's like needing to be able to laugh at yourself a bit more and just do it. Just go for it. And if it crashes and burns, oh well, at least, if you book the stage and no one shows up that night, book another stage. How many do you have to get? It's like when you get dislikes on YouTube. Guess what? It can look like a big percentage, but then if 200 other people come and like it, then that one dislike don't mean shit. And so it's like the same thing here. Not that it means something anyways, but you know what I mean? So it's like, think of it that way. If you're like, man, that sucks, 4th weekend in a row no one showed, okay, we'll keep going until you don't even remember those moments, or until it's almost nostalgic, like, oh man, remember when no one used to show up? Man, I wish I could be that incognito again. So pedal to the metal, get back to work hard. It's like, work yourself till you're asleep working. Okay, get out there. You need to express your energy outwards. Connect with others who are on the exact same vibe, really feeling your stuff. Throw events with like-minded others. And just don't kind of go, like, take responsibility to be your own boss. All right. Thank you, number 3s. For those of you who chose number 4, we have the black seashell here. How do you get what you want? We have the 9 of Swords. We have the Ace of Wands. This is your door here. And it says the Sacred Lotus, compassion in action. I just mentioned that earlier. The chosen tool, I now see the lotus in your spirit's jewel, right? If we don't have action, look at that, wham bam. With our compassion, then it ain't anything. Ace of Earth reverse. So we have the Ace of Pentacles reverse, which is Gaia. We have the Ace of Wands and the 9 of Swords. All right. Again, this whole message is like, get up on your feet. Be active. Be passionate about things. Don't just sit here and let everything bypass you. And some of you are really worried about like the state of the world and like eco-friendly things and the state of children to come, all this kind of thing. And you might feel angry about it, but you don't go out and do anything. Look at the green nails. We talked about that. This flourishing wand. Go out and do things about it, okay? What are you doing for the environment? Are you taking every precaution you can, truly? Not just like, oh, well, I'm a vegan, but I'm not out here actually supporting the indigenous people who are protecting like 88% of the world's biodiversity, etc., etc. Like, no, what are you actually doing on the ground out here in these streets, okay? So that you can sleep at night to go towards your dreams and towards the results you want. What are you truly doing? All right, so at this point, just manifesting about it, just praying about it, just worrying about it, anxiety is not doing it. All right, so you're not getting the physical results you want. The potential is there, but it's not happening. All right, some of you have had to hear some tough truths and you're not liking it. right? You're not liking it. We have the Ace of Wands with the Nine of Swords. You might be like, oh, look at how the hands are up. Oh no, don't tell me, no, no, right? So it could even be like as an artist, right? Pisces artist, man, I'm so sensitive sometimes. And you get that criticism back, and you just feel like, oh my gosh, I want to die. Can the floor eat me? And then the earth, and then all the crust layers, and if it's a molten center or the empty hollow earth, whatever's down there, can that eat me too? Like, oh my God, so embarrassed, so ashamed. And I feel like a lot of you carry that instead of just doing the work to change. And it's like, can you just change? Just grow up, glow up to the next level every time that you are shown the areas of life that I'm getting. Some of you get headaches or migraines. It's like you stress yourself out, right? There's tension headaches and stuff, with this internalized frustration. And instead of letting people's words hit you, and even their anger and frustration when they're right and they're putting up boundaries and they're setting you straight on things, instead it's like, wait, I have to be able to get around this somehow, or it can't be right, or I'm just going to worry about myself. You worry to the point that now you're the victim of the situation. It's like, okay, that's not helping you. All right, maybe the dance instructor was rude, used a rude term, but maybe it's because they're tired of you not living up to your potential, and they're getting on your ass. Like you're making the whole team slack or something, So instead of finding a way to make yourself a victim of the situation, go forward. Now, that doesn't mean that you haven't been done wrong sometimes. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying it's different to not be doing anything to help and still want all the attention for it in a way. So at this point, once you get this reading, it's like, go out there. Compassion in action. That's the chosen tool. I now see the lotus in your spiritual. Ooh, listen to that. I now see the lotus. Some of you couldn't see the good in people. If they were talking in a way that was too rough, too mean, not nice enough. This fits so well with the intro I was talking about in the beginning, right? You couldn't hear people. So there's been a lot of instruction that you've missed out on. Whether it's growing in business, growing in your relationship, growing in your artistry, growing as a community person, an activist, a protector, growing as a parent. I just got that. Yeah. Some of you are having difficulties because it messes up with your little juju, your little kumbaya hippie juju of being the perfect little nice one or whatever, right? It's like, well, that's not the results I want, so I don't want to hear it. No, that's the point. They're letting you know you're not getting the results you want. So hear it and change. All right? So there's been too much plug in the ears. Some of you aren't listening to Spirit. Spirit's getting mad. They're about to bop you on the head. Like Natalie's always saying. I mean, it's a thing, but she's always saying, boop. Bop, bop. Bop it. Twist it. Turn it. It's like, yeah, they are bothering you at night because they're tired of you not listening. Like, come on, you got the tools, right? Compassion in action is the chosen tool. So let's get on this. This is like when someone's like, oh my gosh, it's so sad about winter. Look at me, I'm a martyr over here in winter. Oh my gosh, this winter is so mean. Why my face hurt though? And then it's like, okay, well, you're the god of spring. Can you just make spring happen then? No, but it's so mean that the winter happened and it's still winter. It's like, oh my gosh, you can't sit here mad as, just do it already. Go out here. You might have to fight winter. You're right. You're going to have to fight winter. All right, winter is coming. Winter's been here. You're going to have to fight it back. But spring will be popping, okay? So go ahead and let your seeds flourish. Some of you have been incubating seeds for a long time in life. All right, you got to check your investments. Some of you have been investing in what makes you comfortable and not what needs to be done. And some of you need to replay that twice, I'm hearing. Replay that twice. Investing in what you want, your comfort zone, but not in what needs to be done to make you actually grow. Like, do you think that the seeds, like, I'm sure not all seeds in the world are like, yeah, I'm growing. Some of them are probably like, what the hell? What is this dirty I gotta go up through this. What? I'm barely like a little string bean. What? I gotta push through all this earth. Like, this is messed up. This is the wrong acidity. Look at these rocks. Get up here. The sun's burning. It's burning. It's too much sun. Now it's too cloudy. Like, you could be a complaining little plant if you want. Or you could be like, you know what, this is real messed up. They'll plant me over here in the rocks, put the other seeds in a good area, but you know what? About to fight the good fight in here. About to come up. I'm gonna plant some seeds of my own. About to be an oak tree up in this bitch. Right? So it's like, stop being your own worst enemy. Listen to constructive criticism and change upwards. Okay? I now see the lotus in your spirit's jewel. All right? Allow yourself to see people who are telling you you're wrong in a good light, because sometimes they're right. As a matter of fact, that's the jewel you need for your crown. Okay? All right, so that is the messages for today. How can you get what you want? Hopefully that will help put the the pedal to the gear there, even if it's on a little rougher tread. When you have like the 10-speed bike and you're on that one gear that sucks, you're like, oh, this is, I can feel the burn. Some of the readings might feel like that. Some of them might have felt like when the chain's real loose and you just spinning but you're barely moving. Hey, all at different speeds, different places, but the point is we're trying to help you get where you need to go and help you recalibrate. So I hope that this resonated and connected for y'all. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment, and I'll talk to you soon.